Christie didn't stick to a script today.
I mean what I say, and I say what I mean.
But he did stick to his brand. A straight-talking, take-no-prisoners leader.
I'm going to give the answer to the question that's asked.
Not afraid of ruffling a few feathers.
Did I say on topic, are you stupid?
Your rear end's going to get thrown in jail, idiot. Get over it.
After this traffic jam became a national scandal, the candidate who was once the man to beat is starting his campaign behind.
We are going to go and win this election.
An unusual spot for a political star who for most of his career has been at the top. From New Jersey's hard-charging U.S. attorney
justice has finally been done.
To an even higher perch as the deal-making two-term Republican governor in a Democratic state.
You think you know what it's like to be governor, you really don't.
A tough job, says Mary Pat Christie, but her husband was the perfect guy for it.
He's a very complex person, like any executive leader is. He thinks 4 or 5 steps ahead of most people and just comes up with all sorts of solutions. He plays things out in his mind.
I think he's got more natural ability than any politician I've seen since Bill Clinton. He's that good.
Former New Jersey Governor Tom Kean has known Christie for decades. Ever since the 14-year-old Chris knocked on his door while his mother waited in the car after hearing Kean give a political speech.
And he said, "Sir, I heard you talk. I'd really like to get involved in politics. How do I do it?" And I thought for a minute, and I said, "I'm going up to speak in Bergen County tonight. Get in the car, come with me, see if you like it." And I've known him ever since.
Christie is now 52, and Kean, who's had his own ups and downs with Christie, has watched his fellow Republican become a political force, navigating tough partisan terrain with a lot of backroom skill.
He's a little bit Lyndon Johnson. You know, he'll almost grab you by the collar and say, "This is what we're going to do together," you know, and he's persuasive, but in a very much of a strong way.
And with maybe too much public bravado for Christie's own good.
I can go back and forth with you as much as you want.
Has he learned over time a little bit better self-control, to keep the temper under control, to use it, not have it use him?
Okay. So listen, you want to have the conversation later? I'm happy to have it, buddy. But until that time, sit down and shut up.
If you're disrespectful, you may, be called out on it.
Too blunt, too aggressive?
No, those are not. I really don't think those are faults of his.
You asked the question, I gave the answer.
It's a hallmark of his leadership. I think so many times our politicians kind of don't state the obvious, they don't tell the truth. I think America is looking for someone to tell the truth.
If you give it, you very well may get it back.
That's the Christie Tell It Like It Is plan. He's proudly New Jersey through and through.
Don't they know I am from New Jersey?
Rocking his way through more than 130 Springsteen concerts.
For those of you hooting.
And feeding off the crowds as a candidate,
you know what that means,
town halling
right?
his way through the early primary states.
He has a lot of fun with it. He loves a debate.
Christie's outspoken truth-telling brand was tested a year and a half ago.
I worked the cones, actually, Matt.
But it wasn't a laughing matter. Stories had surfaced that some of his staff had deliberately created a massive traffic jam on the George Washington Bridge to extract political retribution on Christie's behalf. He fired them.
I had no knowledge of this, of the planning, the execution, or anything about it.
While Christie hasn't been charged with anything, 2 of his former staffers have been indicted, and 1 former ally has pleaded guilty.
People abandoned you?
Well, I think that you felt that people were all against you and that you wanted to shout what the truth was. When you're in those kind of situations, you know that you can trust your family. And so we really leaned on one another in a strange way. I think that it was healthy. I wouldn't recommend it, but it was healthy in some ways.
It certainly didn't help politically.
We're past that. Everybody now knows Chris had nothing to do with that. And look, we have to remind people why Chris is such a good leader.
Reminding voters of the strength of Christie's leadership in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy.
I remember that fleece he wore nonstop for...
Yes, I would have to pull it away to wash it at night once in a while. That's because he was working 20-hour days. He would literally go to the shore towns that and walk the streets. He felt people's pain, and he was able to just hug them.
Christie was full of hugs for everyone, including President Obama just a few days before the presidential election, a moment that some Republicans found less than touching. It's a different picture now. Christie has gotten healthier, undergoing lap band weight loss surgery in 2013. But he's struggling to regain lost momentum.
I think he's got big problems right now. If this was another candidate who had the similar problems, I might be writing him off. I know Chris Christie too well for that. Never write off Chris Christie.